So we are live now. Hello viewers, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good evening. Once again, I am here with you with another episode, Win Life Like a Warrior. As I keep mentioning that winning life like a warrior doesn't mean that you have to go to battlefield every time and fight. What I mean to say is that winning life is to win some of the demons within you. And those demons are that fear of failures, regressive attitude, your negative thoughts, self-limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging traits. These are some of the very, very difficult demons within you, and those you have to fight. Let me tell you, for fighting these demons, I have a very simple framework, which I call it a warrior. The warrior is a 7-letter word. And warrior itself means in that you have to be winning everything in life. So the W means first letter is that winning mindset. You got to have a winning mindset. Next letter A is that you have to have an attitude of gratitude. So alter your attitude and have an attitude of gratitude. The next letter is R. That implies that you should remove the whatever clutter you have in your life. That clutter could be your physical clutter, relationship clutter, maybe digital clutter, any kind of clutter you have, removed that. And the next R is reinvent yourself. And after having done all these 4 steps, then it is I, the 5th letter, which is inspire yourself and inspire others. The next letter is O. That is another very important step, that overcome your procrastination. Most of the time we get defeated because of procrastination in life. Then another letter is R. That is you reap the rewards after having achieved all these steps. So reap the rewards or get your return on the time invested in doing all these steps. So ladies and gentlemen, today with me is the guest, Dr. Alisa Whyte, who is not only the life warrior, she has achieved all these steps which I have mentioned, and she is living her dream life today. She is a best-selling author. She is a CEO of an organization that is called your founder and president CEO of a fulfillment empowerment network. She is a vice president of Save the Girl Child Advocacy Africa, and she is listed as a most influential woman businessman in the Africa American. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Dr. Alisa Whyte. Dr. Whyte, you are welcome to the show, Win Life Like a Warrior.
Thank you so much. Good evening, good morning. I am so excited to be here. I had such a pleasure of meeting and getting to know you, and watching this show is so inspirational. Win life like a warrior. And so, yes, I came in and I'm ready to come in the ring with you, and we're going to play and not fight and spread some light and love today. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Cornell.
Dr. Whyte, for me, you are a true warrior. You have gone through so much of challenges, and so effectively you have won on the challenges. And finally, not only you are living your own dream life, you are impacting the lives of millions in this world. So to start with, Dr. Whyte, I would like to know that in your childhood, you have been born and brought up in a different part of the world. So let me just know a little bit about your background, your childhood journey.
So I am very proud of my childhood journey. I was born and raised in Guyana, South America. And so I did not move to the US until I was about 24 years old. So most of my upbringing and everything that I am was already formed. Growing up in that lesser developing country, which I still call home and I love dearly. Guyana is beautiful land. We call it land of many waters and land of 6 people. We have 6 main races: the African descent, East Indian descent, the Chinese, Portuguese, European, and also our Native American tribes. I have my heritage is a blend of at least strongly four of them. And so I was raised in a melting pot of culture and diversity. And I believe partially that's responsible for who I am and why I'm able to navigate and work at a global level, because I was already raised with a cultural awareness and sensitivity. It's just a matter, and I actually enjoy everything. I've tried different foods, and so what's one new one, right? So that has been the responsibility for, I feel, launching me on a global platform. I'm just already comfortable with being with people that look differently, that talk differently, that sound differently, because I was born, and I spend most half of my life, at least at this point, in Guyana, South America. And so I migrated to the US several years ago, because if I tell you guys, you're going to know my age. And I'm keeping my age a secret, not really. But honestly, I've spent half of my life in both countries. And so I'm a naturalized US citizen, and also very proud of that. And, just like you said, just not sticking to one country, have a global mindset to really impact and help people transform their lives all across the globe, as much as I come into contact with them.
Wonderful, wonderful, Alisa. Happy to know all these details. And you see, I have read somewhere that as a child, you wanted to become a psychiatrist, or you wanted to become a judge, or even you wanted to become a social activist. But finally, you landed up to become a teacher.
Yes.
And that is where the self-awareness came in. So we would like to know that how this transition, what you thought initially and then finally what you became, how this transition took place.
One of the things that I firmly believe that's part of my own personal arsenal, as I call it, we're winning like a warrior, right? So we have to come into battle with our tools, which are usually weapons of mass destruction, whether it be a grenade, a gun, knives. So in my own personal tools, what has become the center point of my life is understanding and knowing exactly who I am, why I am, and just living that out. And that's many times referred to as my purpose. And so when we dibble dabble, lots of people are just afraid to even get into the zone of purpose, because they think they're going to be locked into a box of, I pick one thing and I got to stick with it. Or some people have already chosen one thing and they're like, I don't know if I want to go through the change. But that's not what I talk about when I talk about purpose, right? So when you ask me that, what got me to the point where I was just comfortable with the fact that my purpose is really and truly a teacher? How in the world are you a teacher, but you're a coach, you're a trainer, you're a speaker, and you're an entrepreneur and a global business leader? Like, how did that happen? Well, I'll tell you why. Because when we think about why you are and who you are, we're going back to your authentic self.
Yes. Yes.
And like my dear friend said, it is the self-awareness that counts a lot in any situation when it comes to our lives and sorting out where we want to go. So with all the wonderful things that I thought about being, could I have been those? Probably. Would I have been probably comfortable in life? Yes. But the ultimate for the human soul is to find peace with him or herself. That's my personal belief. And so we talk a lot about success, and that varies from person to person. But I feel like when I've watched documentaries, I've talked with people towards the latter part of their life, and some of them even at the end of their life, I've never heard them say, I wish I'd bought the Lamborghini. Or, I would hear people say, I like to ask questions. I interview people every day. I don't do it on TV like you. You're a superstar. But for me, I'm always talking to people and learning from the youngest child to the adult. It's always that I wanted to do this, and it's always leading back to meaning. It's always leading back to experiences. So when I was, looking at purpose, of course, I was like 9, 10, talking about being a judge. It was based on my value, my core value of seeing right and fairness in the world. When I thought about being a counselor and a therapist, it was still going back to me wanting to help people and see them overcome things. Why? Because I was seeing a lot happening in the society already. But the thing about purpose, you don't truly have to go looking for it outside of you. It's already in you. It's that thing that you do naturally. So many people were telling me how great I was at teaching. I didn't believe it. I wanted to initially get out of high school, go to university, and work at a bank, because the girls at the bank, they wore really nice suits and heels, and the bank had air conditioning. So I didn't want to be somewhere where they didn't have air conditioning. I wanted to be in air conditioning and had nice little sweaters on. So I was like, I can do that while I go to college, right? And so that's not how it went down for me. I started looking for work, and I couldn't find work because most of the employment in Guyana, South America at that time, I was 17 plus. There was a government freeze. Government is where most of the employment was at the time. Very different now. We've got a lot of private sector companies, but at the time that was it. So it was kind of hard to find a job because no one's really leaving until they leave. And then there was a freeze. So I couldn't find work. I was getting ready to go to university. And because of my academic success, we had a lot of people asking me to help tutor their children. And so I finally said yes, and that just blew up. At 17, I started tutoring one child, and I had two, and then I had 3, 4, 5. And the next thing you know, I started the whole tutoring center within a couple of months. And we could talk about that a little more. But I was so comfortable watching the transformation and their eyes light up. And I felt so like I had such value and self-worth within myself that I was able to see that change, right? And then not only were the kids transforming and the grades getting better, the mothers and fathers weren't worried that their child was going to fail life, because in our society, we value education so greatly, which I am so happy I was raised that way. Great. We were seeing those transformations, right? And so what I found is that at the core of everything I do, if you listen to the way I talk, even when I give a speech, if I'm training, I'm still teaching. I'm always looking for the teachable moments, right? And so I've become so comfortable to say that my purpose is that of a teacher. And what does a teacher do? A teacher mentor, a teacher guides, a teacher leads, and a teacher legitimately transforms the planet by giving these life lessons, not only in academics, but in social, in the social arena, in the mental health. We wear so many hats as teachers, and so no surprise there. So that's where it all went for me. What I'm saying to our viewers today is, when we talk about purpose, I'd say, yes, you have the conversations and let people tell you what you're good at, but it's already within you. Many of us are already living our purpose and we don't realize it. So step back for a moment. I say purpose is the big why you are. Yes. So when you think about why, if you get a hammer and you give it to a toddler, they don't know what to do with it. They'll start swinging it everywhere because they don't understand the purpose of a hammer. They'll break a few things. So we don't let them access a hammer. We don't let young children access scissors until they're a certain age because they don't understand the purpose. So if you're living and walking the face of the earth, and you don't understand the why and the reason for why you're on earth, you might be misusing the tool. It's not that you don't have it, you just haven't locked into the reason and the use of it, of you. So now you're out of alignment. I say the day, there's 3 most important days in your life. It's the day when you're born, the day when you discover your purpose, and then the day when you decide to move unapologetically in that direction. And so that's the encouragement I tell everyone. That's why I light up. That's why I'm up at 3 a.m. to talk to you, because I'm so excited and passionate about my purpose.
Wonderful, wonderful, Dr. Alisa. And what a profound lesson you brought, that 3 important dates in the life. One is that when you are born, another is that when you find the purpose, and third is when you go away from this universe. And also you mentioned about that if you are walking on this earth and if you don't know your why, then you are not using the right tool and you are not knowing that what exactly you are supposed to do, then it is worthless. But here my question comes, Alisa, that yes, you found your purpose in your teaching, but when purpose is aligned with your passion, then you get the peace. So
Yes.
one P plus another P is equal to third P. That is your purpose plus passion is equal to the peace.
Yes.
How do you define this concept? I heard that you follow this concept, that purpose aligned with your passion, ultimately you have a peace and the joy.
Exactly. So, well, what I talk about in my lessons on purpose is a lot of times we kind of interchangeably use the word purpose and passion. And so, as I said, purpose is that big why. And it's not something you got to go upturn, a haystack to find a needle. It's really right there within you. And what confuses us is because we are so multi-passionate, we're passionate about so many things. Like I'm passionate about youth. I'm passionate about women living and working and being healed and transforming and leading in their own personal and professional lives. I'm also passionate about the education system, about education being accessible to everyone on planet Earth. I am passionate about so many things. I'm telling you, I'm not the only one because I know you all are too. However, a lot of times we get caught up chasing just maybe one or trying to chase them all at the same time. What it is I say to individuals is that passion is burning within you. I wrote a little book, I call it a mini book. It's called Ignite the Fire Within. And that is using your passion to fuel your purpose. And in the book, I talk about all the different things that you have the possibility to lock into. And that will fuel your why you want your passions to be aligned with your why, because that will keep you burning.
Yes.
I also teach that your purpose doesn't change. It just looks differently throughout the course of your life. So while my purpose is that, I say, if you want a word to label it, is that of a teacher. I have been teaching in different arenas. I started with the young children, the kindergarten, then in a short space of time, because I was teaching literacy and reading, I was teaching adults. And then I moved into teaching English and social studies because I'm passionate about that. And I also taught math, all at the, the primary level and tertiary level as well. Here's the thing. How did I go from that to being a business leader and working in corporate America and corporate Guyana, and then bouncing back over to teaching for a while in administration and sitting on boards where decisions are made in my community about education here in the US and even in Guyana? How does that make sense, right? Because we're all so multi-passionate and multi-talented. And then you're like, well, you're a coach now. Yes, I've done the training certification, but basically I'm still taking that innate gift of teaching and using it differently throughout my life based on where I'm at and how I want. How the passion a lot of time fuels the how you demonstrate the why. Yeah. Now, I started to be when I got trained and certified as a coach, I started speaking, training, teaching for absolutely free. Why? Because I was not waiting for someone to hire me or book me to do the thing I love to do. I also had a full corporate job when I started the journey. Because why? I am at peace and I'm so joyous and happy and excited and filled with zeal when I'm doing what in this phase of my life is most important to make my soul sing. And that is speaking, teaching, coaching, training. In this chapter of my life, 10 years ago, I was just happy being an operations manager and leading a team and also seeing transformation because I was still getting the juice. But now the juice I want to drink is in this sweet spot here. I was not going to let a full-time job and the bill stop me. I picked up the computer and I got on Facebook and I started to talk to people and invite them to come to a mastermind. And I just took off with 20-something people first run, and we had a blast, and I didn't stop since then. I've created programs for youth across the globe, for women here locally. And so when you find that sweet spot, there's nothing that stops you from doing it. I also share with participants and people I work with in some of my presentations that, listen, do the thing you love, and if you can't do it, in volunteering. Volunteering can help lead you to your purpose and help to burn the fire within with what you're passionate about so that you can eventually move into it full time. It might take a long time, but then that's where you start to find that place where even before you make the dollar amount, you feel successful. You don't only feel successful, people start to see success on you and they want a piece of it. And you're like a little light that's just starting to grow and light up darkness in the world because you are at peace with yourself and you're feeling a sense of, ooh, I am really here. And now you're not afraid to show that to the world. I tell people, even though I was raised with a global mindset, I did not think it would be this quickly. I didn't even know how I would be sitting here on an interview with you. And I didn't focus on it either. I focus on just doing what I love first and creating a space for myself, my message, my voice in the world. And it just echoed out.
Absolutely.
So that's what I encourage people to do, is to start today, start now, doing the thing you love. Try different things until you find the thing you want to keep doing, and you will do it for free. And that's there where you're sticking with purpose and passion, and it leads to that peace and fulfillment.
Yes. And viewers, what she has emphasized the point, you must understand. The passion is the thing, or the purpose you find is the thing which you want to do it for, no matter what. Whatever it takes, you still want to do. And you want to do 24/7 without even feeling tired. And that's what she said. 3 o'clock, she's awake in US and talking to me. 3 o'clock in the morning. And can you see any tiredness? She's so fresh as if she's waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that is the purpose and the passion. What is, she calls it, that come what may, whatever it takes, you do that. And not looking for anything in return. Everything will follow otherwise. The universe will give you back, provided you go with the commitment and dedication to your purpose and your passion. Thank you so much, Alisa, giving such a wonderful, profound nuggets of life. My next question to you is that, we know that in the childhood, you have been the victim of domestic violence. In fact, when you were trying to save your mother, you got hurt, and then you were bedridden for some time, gone through a lot of difficulties and the challenges in your life. What I say is that, don't you think this toxic relationship in the families or in the world or anywhere for that matter, the woman empowerment is one of the factors. If that is given importance, empowering the people around you, or especially the women in the family, probably this kind of domestic violence can be curbed to a very extent. What would you like to say?
So I thank you for asking that question. That's a really good question. So yes, my family did experience domestic violence. As a result, I suffered a brain injury around age 14, where my life could have stopped.
Yes.
They weren't sure how. There's no way to repair damaged tissue in the brain. They just kind of hope for the best once they did the diagnosis. And so not only was that traumatic for me, but it was traumatic for the rest of my family.
Yes.
The thing is, as you said, if we focus a little bit more on woman empowerment and stick there a little bit, I feel like there's the inequality in gender.
Yes.
For forever, right? And that's an issue. But here's the thing. If we are working to transform the mindset of the man, the woman,
yes,
the child, the children, that's where we get the holistic. A lot of times we focus so much on one. We've been focusing on the male gender, and I think we've had this shift where now everybody's saying women empowerment. I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong at all. But what I'm saying, can we just also make sure we're empowering everybody? Because if we empower a woman, yes, we empower a nation, we empower everyone, yes. But if we get the transformation of our mind, and that's why I work in that area.
Yes.
We have empowered women, but if men are not empowered,
Yes.
so to speak, we're still working with the problem.
Yes.
I do. There's a grand design that we're created male and female. We both have masculine and feminine energies. Male and female have masculine and feminine energies. However, what is a transform? Let's say we have a basket of apples, and someone picked one, a fresh one, picked up one that the child in our household. We have a nice basket, we picked apples together. One of the kids went out, younger child went out and picked up one that was fallen on the ground. It's not so good. It started to rot because it's disconnected from its source, the tree, right? And so a child brings that apple, puts it in the basket, and it's already started rotting. Once it gets back in that basket, what happens to the rest of the apples?
Yeah.
It starts to rot. So when we start to empower women, we have to empower everybody. Everyone has to be a part of the conversation, or we won't really make as much turn. I'll tell you what, very early in my life, because of what I'd experienced, in addition to having my own business and operation, I went out and got trained and certified as a domestic violence counselor. And I'm sitting in my internship with therapists, right? Of course, I'm going to sit with therapists. I wanted to be a therapist when I was growing up. And I remember my first session with a woman who was in severe domestic violence. And when we were done after 2 hours working with her, I was the fly on the wall. I didn't see anything. I was so drained. I was tired. The therapist was tired. However, following up with that case, within a short space of time, because of need, that woman went back to that abusive man. So it didn't really help us to help her alone. We needed to help that whole family because there were children in there. So that is my approach on women's empowerment, is to really start with the whole family and helping to transform the mindsets. That's why in the beginning, I started off my career, and I still influence how young children are taught. And I think we ought to teach them how to think. Because if we teach them how to think, the wings they grow are unlimited, and then we have better humans in society.
Yes.
So that's my take.
Yes. Dr. Whyte, you rightly said that it's basically the self-empowerment for everyone. It should be the self-empowerment for everyone, wherein the mindset is the one which has to be first transformed or reformed, or you can say upgraded to the growth mindset from the fixed mindset. And that is where all the problem, whether it is domestic violence or any other kind of difficulties in life, can be taken care of. So it is basically the self-empowerment which should be done through the making the winning mindset, or making the mindset which is of the growth mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah. So going ahead, Dr. Alisa, that I know as an adult, you experience infertility, miscarriages, and you found yourself as a lost unborn babies, plus possibility of becoming mother, with so many of setbacks, even the domestic violence in the childhood, with so many setbacks in your life, you still remain unstuck. Generally, the people with one small problem get stuck in their life. One very small, minor things. You didn't reach in time, you lost the flight, you missed the flight, people get stuck and they keep cribbing about that. But here you are the example, burning example, where with so many problems of life, such a serious nature, that you didn't get stuck and you moved on. And that is why I say that unhook your past, and you unhooked your past and keep winning the life like a warrior. So I would like to know here that how did you get that courage to unhook your past or unstuck your all the challenges, and then finally you are what you are today?
Ooh, I love that question. I'll tell you what. Sometimes I listen to that and I'm like, oh, that was me. That is my story, right? I think number one, I was raised by a very strong and resilient mother to start with, right? And we were raised with very strong faith as well, not just in my home, but in my community. Everyone around me had a strong faith, whether it was Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, and we sort of, weirdly enough, very strong, close knit. And so it's like everyone's always kind of knowing what's going on. They don't have details. So you kind of have to keep moving because everyone's always watching. I talk about many times that in our world, we have this mindset of just kind of getting over things, right? Somebody passes away here in the USA. If it's a family member, that's a mother, father, someone really close, they give you 10 days if you're going overseas. And then you come back, you have to go to work. So you got 10 days to mourn, but get your happy self back to work because we need you. And everything is so we want to go fast. So a lot of times we get stuck because we're not taking the time to heal. However, in my case, being stuck on the outside was not apparent as I was growing up. I was moving forward, I was achieving, I was helping, and I was serving, which I would say to anyone, even when things go downhill, is to keep moving forward in the direction of your dreams, in the direction of your purpose. Do that. But here's the caveat I'm going to add to that. In addition to, take the time out, like you said earlier, to get in touch with you and self-awareness. So for many years, I carried on with the get over it, keep moving. And it worked, right? For all intents and purposes for the masses, it worked. But I hit a point where I felt I was moving, but I was still stuck on the inside. I wasn't, number one, living true to my purpose and my own dreams. And so I became an individual who was doing, but the results I was getting were not mine. And then I was locked into, you brought up the fact that I suffered with infertility. Let's talk about that for a little bit. Many of us women and men, see, I find there's really no difference to how we're treated, just a different label. We are taught that you grow up, you eat everything on your plate because there are children hungry in Africa. You go to school, you get an education. And as a man, most cultures say you have to work, get a nice job so you can provide for your wife and intended wife and family. The woman is kind of taught the same thing these days. Previously, it was about being a good homemaker and being able to take care of our children and our husband. Now women are we're doing it all. We're working in corporate or whatever we want. We're entrepreneurs, love it, hooray. But here's the thing, life was just, everyone in society is just telling us what we're supposed to be. Because by goodness, I'm 40, telling my age. At the age I am, I should have been a mother, right? But I don't have any biological kids of my own. So when you hit a spot and you're in your 30s, you don't have any kids, and everyone's like, when are you guys gonna have kids? When are you gonna have kids? Oh, you're gonna have beautiful babies. They're gonna be so cute because they're gonna look like you, they're gonna look like the father. And I'm like, but I don't have any kids. And I've been waiting and trying and doing everything. And then, so I went to fertility treatment because just like everyone wanted to see my kids, I wanted to see what they were going to look like too, right? So I put all the effort into modern medicine and 3 rounds of the highest dose of infertility treatment. And I finally got pregnant and I have the babies in there and I'm so excited. First Christmas, we've got a set of twins in there. We don't know, we just picked out pink and blue little suits for just born and we hang them on the tree and we've got little diamonds with 3 stones, and mommy and daddy dreaming off. We got the little nursery started to set up and then wham, in month 2, babies are gone. You're like, okay, so you had a brain injury when you were young, suffered, endured domestic violence and all kinds of things, parents divorced, and you made it through that, and then you had struggles having kids, and then you had gotten pregnant and miscarried. And yes, that happened. And my story is mine, but I'm sure most of our viewers, including you, we've all got a story. We've got things just hit us. You say, Alisa, why didn't you get stuck? Well, I did. Like I said, I got mentally and emotionally stuck within with the anger and the disappointment and the so-called belief that I am not even worthy of being a woman because I did not give birth to a child. And why did I feel that way? Because I was measuring myself against what others said that I should be.
Yes.
And not knowing exactly, owning who I am.
Yes.
And so what I needed to do at that age, just about 33 years old, was to either give up and die or find a way up and out of the pit I was in. You couldn't tell if you were looking at me, right? Everyone thinks I'm winning. Everyone's seeing a warrior. She overcame all those things in childhood and she's a boss. But here I am again in my midlife and I am in peril where I literally just want to die. And so I went through a process of getting back to myself. And so that's where my 5 core principles come from. And I call it the bases. And if you allow me just a minute here to put my little coaching teacher hat on and share with you what those are. The B stands, number 1, for belief systems. Who are you truly at your core? See, like I just told you, I'm supposed to be a mom at a certain age. I'm supposed to be a wife. I'm supposed to have this. I'm supposed to have that. I'm pretty sure many of our viewers have had those ideals. I just got a call from a young woman I love dearly that says, I'm about to turn blah, blah age, and I don't know what I'm doing next. And I feel like I'm supposed to know. And I said, darling, you're not supposed to anything but be you. And she was like, what are you talking about? Well, she's being raised in the same culture as I am. So if you're at a certain age and you're supposed to have all these things planned out, which I did, that was me. I had everything planned out. And I was checking those boxes. But then look what happened. Who would have told me after getting married at age 22 and dating to the man I dated for 5 years right out of high school that we weren't going to have kids? Who would have told me after I did all the things I would not achieve motherhood? Who would have told me? I wasn't prepared for that because they said, if you do this and you check those boxes, you're going to get these numbers. Those numbers weren't adding up. And that's what made me feel like I was less than. And like I said, the basis, your belief systems, going back to your core values and your true beliefs, yours. See, many of us are raised in religious households and in different communities. And let me tell you, that is a beautiful thing. But within all that, you have got to be able to hear your own voice and understand who you are and truly what you desire to be. And that's when I say your values, core beliefs. The B is for your belief systems. And I know you talk a lot about limiting beliefs. However, the A is for authenticity. We're talking bases. Remember I said we need an arsenal. We're going in and winning life like a warrior. We can't just come in here thinking, oh, well, where are we going? You've never seen a soldier wandering around like, oh, waking up and wiping his eyes and like, oh, we're going out into battle right now. Oh, no. There, you guys were dressed and strapped around here, and you got the vest and the guns and the rifles. And so that's where I pull my 5 principles for my life. My belief system, A for authenticity. That is where now I am functioning in a space of everything I do. Is that truly me, or am I just saying yes because it makes everybody happy? Or am I just becoming a PhD in psychiatry because that's what my mom expected? Authenticity a lot of times is confused for being genuine. Well, if you're authentic with yourself, then you become a genuine person in your relationships and your interactions, right? The S is for self-awareness. I know you're going to love it. Self-awareness, tucking in and being true and spending time with yourself in meditation, in prayer, and understanding how you move, working on yourself, because none of us are perfect. We'll be working on ourselves till the end of our lives if we commit to it. But we're seeing what we need to tweak. We're taking feedback. We're reflecting. We're understanding. We're knowing and we're in tune with our own desires and needs, or what our body's telling us, self-awareness. And then the E is for energy. Have you ever seen any of us in this day and age who lets our battery run all the way down on our cell phone. No, we don't. No, we don't. As soon as we get that first 20% warning, we're like, wait a minute, where's the charger? We're in the airport and we're looking for the closest outlet, or we've already packed a battery pack in our suitcase, in our hand luggage. Some people just keep it in a pocket or in a little pouch around their waist, because we will not let that battery run out. And so we want to keep fully charged up in our mental awareness and in our mental space, in our spiritual lives, in our physical lives. We've never seen a warrior, a soldier out there that is, no, he exercises, he's got to get up early in the morning. He's also, many times they take you guys and they pull you into a sort of combat zone. It's not that you're not in a war, but they're training you out in the wild, in the jungle, in the fields, all kind of weather and conditions. So your body and your mindset could be shifted and ready to fight. And so when we talk about energy in bases, are you surrounding yourself with things, and are you in the right environment and with the right people that keeps you going in the direction of your purpose, in the direction of your dreams? And then the last S is for self-love. Ooh, let me step on some toes a little bit here, because I don't want you to think that I am telling you that you can't be in a relationship, but I'll tell you what, you're better in a romantic relationship, you're better in your family relationship, your professional relationships, when you have come through those 4 steps and now you have come to a place of ultimate love and respect and responsibility for yourself. You're taking responsibility for your actions. You're taking time out for you. You're saying yes because it works with the kind of schedule that you have that includes making sure your energy is right. And so now when you love yourself so much, that's when that radiance comes off of you. And then people just start to love you. And there's some people who are not going to like you, but that's only because you're reflecting something to them that they have not done and achieved for themselves. And so in that case, you still love them anyway. And so those are the bases that I have used in my life to not only become unstuck, but stay unstuck. And no matter what, I go back to my bases. And those are the tools that I'm in the battlefield with. And I try to get everyone with. So I'm just going to keep winning life like a warrior.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic, Dr. Alisa. What a profound this basis you have brought out, and you have connected so well with the courage, with the way you have come out of this all challenges, and you are still going on strong like a warrior. And viewers, for just benefit of yours, let me just recapitulate what Dr. Alisa has said. Such a profound lesson. First thing she has said is that whenever you are in such a situation, keep moving, take action, whatever calculated action you want to take, to continue. And the life will go, whatever has gone past is gone past. And yes, when you take action, you go ahead and you will find the way out. Universe will give you the direction to move on. Now this 5 belief system, what Dr. Alisa had mentioned. First is the B, that is the self-belief. You have some belief system when you are born in the family. So there is a parental belief system, there is a teacher belief system, there is an education belief system, but have your own belief system as well. What you believe in, follow that. That is what she had differentiated. Don't compare with others, what others say. Do what you love it, you like it. That is your belief system. That is your core values. That is what BC means. Then another thing she said, authenticity. Authenticity, she said, don't compare with the genuinity of being genuine. Authenticity is that you remain what you are, what your heart says. What your heart plus mind or gut feeling says, that is authenticity. That is another very profound thing Dr. Alisa has mentioned. Then the thing is that S, self-awareness. What she implies in that is that you must know what is your weaknesses. Very important. Every one of us have weaknesses. And at the same time, we do have certain strengths. Every one of us have a strength. And once you know your weakness or strength, you can capitalize on your strength. At the same time, you can improve upon your weaknesses to convert into the strengths. And that is what the another, as she has said, energy, very important point she has brought out. Nothing can be done in life without the energy. She gave an example of a soldier, a warrior, that without energy, he cannot move around. He cannot be disgusted or tired. You see, the energy could be your physical energy, emotional energy, your the energy of any kind which helps you to move on.
Yes.
And
Yes.
without that energy, you cannot achieve anything in this life. Life itself is energy. It just keeps changing. You see, this Einstein has already said, energy doesn't destroy or doesn't create. It just changes from one form to other. So that energy, physical, emotional, these all energies you have to have in abundance. Then only you can move on. Then
You got
only.
it.
And then
Yes.
finally, she said the self-love. You love your children, you love your wife, you love your mother, parent, but you never love yourselves. And unless you love yourself, how somebody else can love you? And that is what she said, that you are the reflection to others.
Yes.
So if you want to be respected, you want to be loved, first you yourself will start loving yourself. What a profound, Dr. Alisa. It's a wonderful lessons. Hats off to you. And thank you so much that my
Thank
viewers
you.
is getting such a...
You see, my dear, when we are living in that type of space, we start to look at the challenges as just another bump in the road. I always say, be like water, be like the ocean, be like the stream, be like the river. We have never seen the water flowing, and then here comes a big giant rock and it goes, what do I do? Where do I go? The water never stops. It does this, it dips and it goes right over it. And it keeps going, right? And so if we look at our challenges and we remain like water, water is in everything. Water is life source. And so are we. We're the ones that keep the planet aglow, not the lights that we turn on every day. As a matter of fact, we're the ones who invented lights, right? And so if we think about even Thomas Edison, when he was creating the light, he did it, I think they've said 10,000 times. Don't quote me on that. But what he never said was, oh my gosh, that was everything I thought. I don't know what else to do the first time. If he said that, we wouldn't have light today.
Yes, yes.
He said, oh, now I know that that doesn't work. So let me try this.
Yes.
And he said, oh, now I know this and that don't work. So let me try this. So guess what, my friend? All these things, life is unfolding for me, I say, in divine order.
Yes.
And so the brain injury, the miscarriage, divorce, all these things become parts of my life that just creates what I become. I am the one who determines who I am and what I am already determined. I get in connection with who I am and what I'm created to be. And I just keep flowing. And so I'm not stuck because I am life source flowing like the water in the ocean. And with these bases that I talk about, of course, I can go on for hours on them, but you can take those today and make them what they mean for you. You see, again, we were raised in a culture and a society in my era where everything someone said was law in my life, and I went that way. But as I got older, what keeps me unstuck is to listen to the teachings of even a young child. You know, we have Zayed, that Dr. Shamas, the baby. He's sitting on LinkedIn, giving us so much life. And so I listen to him and I say, what can I learn from him?
I know.
What can I learn from Colonel? What can I learn from this one and that one? So I'm learning. And then I say, well, what does what he's saying mean for me? So my thing to our viewers today, both in mine and your end, is listen to us talk here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen to the other individuals on my dear friend's platform. But take that and say, what does that mean for me?
Yes.
And that's that self-awareness will help you process. And you will use them and become to put tools in your arsenal so you can win life like a warrior.
Absolutely, absolutely, Dr. Alisa. And what you said, that if anything you want to achieve in life or want to be fulfilled in life, you have to be first the dream student. You have to remain throughout your life as a dream student, wherein you can learn from anyone, anywhere, anytime.
That's
And
right.
that is what I say, that being the dream student is very important to be in the life.
That's right.
You know what biggest problem in the society is, that the moment they have done the graduation, post-graduation, PhD and all, and this is the end of learning. And that is where the problem starts.
Big problem.
Yeah, real learning start once you have finished everything. The life learning start after that. And that is what you said.
This is what I say about life, Colonel. I say that I wrote a quote maybe about 7 years ago. I said, life do not promote you. Life. I didn't say school. Life doesn't promote you because of your age. See, in some of our academic arenas, in the tertiary phase, when the child gets to a certain age, they just promote them because like you can't repeat anymore. You got to graduate. You can't be 21 in high school, right? So they'll just promote them because of their age. Like, you failed, but go ahead anyway, figure this out. Well, life itself does not promote us because of our age. See, when we have things that happen to us that we didn't plan for, that's what caused the confusion and the chaos, a death in the family, loss of any sorts, or pain and conflict and all that. It throws us off track. But here's the thing, our job is to learn from those. You say, what am I to learn from this experience? What is life teaching me? Because life for me is like a classroom. And so in the classroom of life, if you don't get it here, it will keep repeating itself for you until you learn it. So that is why I say, to keep yourself unstuck, don't say you're moving forward mentally and emotionally because you're moving forward physically. You still got to do the work. Like you said, stay a student in life.
Yes.
Let life teach you and learn the lesson quickly so you can get promoted and move on to the next. But there's always a lesson.
Yes.
Always.
So, Dr. Alisa, you mentioned recently that eventually you got a divorce as well, and you were all alone. And you see that this is a very limiting belief, self-limiting belief, that yes, if you don't have a husband, you don't have your family, you don't have your own children, then you are an incomplete person. Whereas you are the one who have proved otherwise, that despite all these things, you not only living your life, fulfilled life, you are impacting the others to live their fulfilled life. We are impacting the others' life to live the way they want or live their dream life. So this limiting beliefs, what would you like to say about this?
Here's the thing, we talk about women empowerment. I am a woman empowerment advocate. I advocate for women to be empowered and to be equally. I don't want our viewers to walk away thinking that I'm going to say, oh, as a woman, you can do it by yourself. You should do it by yourself. You don't need a man. Please, you won't hear that coming out of my lips, because I believe in the best mastermind is that of a husband and wife. And when we bring male and female together, right? But here's the thing. I didn't choose to be divorced, right? No one chooses that, really. Yes. People might make decisions like me and my ex-husband did to be divorced, but we didn't plan that. We didn't want that. That's how life unfolded for us. And those are decisions we made at the time. But again, as we said earlier in this conversation, is when we know who we are and why we are, yes, and we're moving in that purpose, everything becomes just part of the journey. Yes. Life keeps unfolding, right? So you keep moving. For me as a woman, I shared with you all my basis. I told you that I know exactly why I'm on planet Earth. And so I keep busy doing that. There is absolute room for me to have a husband and have children, but it hasn't happened yet. Does that mean I should be sitting there thinking, because society told me in order to great, I have to be this or that? I already told you that's not a part of my limiting beliefs. I got some I'm working on, but I kicked that to the curb a long time ago. So in the meantime, while I still dream and hope for my partner, my divine masculine king, and I visualize and I manifest those in my meditations, I know who he is, I can feel his energy, and I always say you can email me if you want to talk more about that. I'm not going to it. I'm not going to stop being who I was created to be. Because what is life then? If you're just going to sit to be what someone told you has to be, it doesn't work like that for all of us. Listen, I'm happy that everybody finds it, but it doesn't happen at the time you might want it. If you sit and get stuck on what you are not having, what you don't have, what you didn't get, you will never move forward and you will never win.
Yes, yes, I agree.
So when you know who you are, that's why I talk a lot about purpose in everything. You get that purpose-driven mindset. You keep moving forward, and you got people who need you. Every one of us have a story. Each of us have a message to the world. And so we keep doing that. And then all the things, like you said earlier, my dear friend, you said it just comes. And so while I don't have a husband right now, I've got amazing friends and teams of people here in Arizona, in Africa, in Ghana, in India. And it's just, I'm filled with so much love. I've got my family down the street, my mom, my dear mom, and my sister and her husband and kids. And so I'm still filled. So I focus on what I have.
Yes.
And I keep manifesting what I desire. See, it's already there for me. Just hasn't come to me yet. So as I move forward, I'm getting closer to all of it. And that's fulfillment.
Fantastic. And that is the way to get over those limiting beliefs. And that is the way to transform and move ahead in life and achieve the fulfillment, final fulfillment. And I fully subscribe to that theory of yours and the basis. Dr. Alisa, another thing is that somewhere you have mentioned that your path to peace and joy after such a traumatic childhood and the adulthood has been achieved by your gratitude and the self-awareness. So my question is that tell my viewers how to overcome their past and worst experiences by practicing gratitude and self-awareness.
And so it's kind of what we've been talking about all the time. When you're in self-awareness and in authenticity with yourself, your true values, core belief, you start to match up things that way. So you start to choose friends. You start to decide where to work, where to live based on your true self. And so life starts to look a lot different. I can tell you, you might still be able to pull up some pictures on my social media and you're like, that was her. I look totally different. Because when you step into the space of living who you truly are, there's such a peace. And so you start to glow. I get told about the glow. That's why in my teachings, I talk about growing and glowing. That determination of being at peace with yourself and who you are and acceptance, self-awareness takes you and propels you into a space of the world is just my playground. I am limitless. I could really just do this. Like, even when you're doing it at the smallest level, you're thinking, man, this feels good. So you keep going deeper. What I would say to our viewers is, once you tap into that right there, in the self-awareness, in authenticity, and you're moving in the direction of your purpose, watch what happens. I just dare you to try it. I feel like you're looking at two humans on the screen right now who's doing exactly that. And if you're feeling the energy, forget how beautiful we look, forget how glowing we are. If you just sit for a moment and you let this energy that's happening in this conversation vibrate to you, and you're saying, I'm stuck, I feel lost, Alisa, I'm tired, I actually want to give up on my marriage, I want to give up. I got a kid who's in high school who's just so rebellious and not listening to me. What do I do? That's why I talk about self-love, because many of us are pouring into other people and the cup is empty. We're pouring from a cup that's run out. The only way to have what I call the reservoir is if you keep taking care of yourself and pouring into yourself. Then you can show up and make decisions. Sometimes you got to let some places, some jobs, some people, some relationship go. I'm not telling you that this is easy. But what I'm telling you is that it's worth it.
Yes.
When you decide to ensure you're good, you're not only deciding for you, you're deciding for all the people that you serve and that you're going to serve, because you understand who you are and what you're worth.
In fact, Dr. Alisa, the biggest problem, or rather factor, why the people remain stuck where they are, that factor is the fear. And the fear is fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear
Yes.
of unknown. Okay.
Fear is not being liked.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to tell you.
Fear of judgment. Okay. And in Hindi, in India, we call it log kya kahenge, means what people will say.
Yes,
okay, that is the biggest fear, what people will say. Yes. So this is one of the factors because of which people don't take any action. Without taking action, they start judging themselves. They get fearful of others. So yes, what would you recommend for such people, that how to get over of the fear and take action so that they move forward in the life, anywhere where they are stuck?
Here's the thing about the mind and about the brain and how it works with our bodies and our lives. Whatever we believe, limiting beliefs, right? Whatever we believe, we legitimately, if we put it in our brain, just a little drop, it's, the word self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you put a belief that people are not going to like me if I truly live and do what I know I love or be how I want to be, then you will go out and physically find evidence to support that belief, right? What is a negative, or it works the same for positive. Yes. So if you tell yourself that people are going to love it when I am being my most authentic self, you will start to find evidence, limitless evidence that they do. However, I'm going to be very honest with you. When you start switching it up, people are not going to like you. They're not going to like it. I don't want to say they're not going to like you. They're not going to like it. And things could be rocky in those relationships with people because they do have an opinion. They do have an idea, and they also have a nice little box. They want you to stay in, honey. Cocoon. Many of us, we build boxes for children. We're like, you know what, John is going to be a doctor. And then Tom, he's going to be that one right there. Maybe he'll be a mechanic. I don't know. And the other one, I don't think he's going to be anything. God help that child. He's lost, right? And so parents are thinking these things about their children. And we are inheriting those thoughts. This is why I say get back to your true values and core beliefs. But whatever the mind thinks, we find evidence for. So start to think. That's why I'm a mindset coach, because I can't help you climb Mount Kilimanjaro if you don't believe you can. Right? Yes. I find it's easier as a coach, and as a matter of fact, most coaches work on the mindset regardless of what. We have to. I just put more emphasis in the area of mindset on everything I teach, because as the mind thinks, so does the man become. The good book says, as a man thinketh, so is he. I also believe it's in the Quran and it's in the Bhagavad Gita, just written differently, right? So if you're thinking something, that's what you become. Like I said, I will tell you in my journey, it was pretty hard when I start to come up with all this self-awareness and start to truly live and be who I am and chase after my dream and go with what I believe I was created for. Not everybody liked it. I've lost some people. Even now in this day and age, I'm telling you, there are people who are like, why are you saying no to me? You don't say no to me. I literally had a conversation with someone who was like, oh, you said no to me? And I'm like, yeah, I did, because that doesn't ring through. That's not my truth. So I can't do it, and I won't do it. And I'm saying this with the most love and respect, but I'm just not. And people don't like that. So it gets rocky for a while. But we teach people how to treat us. We teach people how to be in relationship with us. So if you continue to surrender, my thing is, what is the payoff? It's not their fault that you're not doing and becoming what you want. Your payoff, really and truly, let's just do some self-responsibility checks here. Your payoff is that nice little comfort zone and those cheers and applause that they give you. And you know deep in your heart when you go home at night and you lay your back on the bed, you're like, man, hate this. I hate this. I feel like a fake. I feel like a fraud. And I feel like a phony. Well, that's what you're getting. Could you think the opposite if people were applauding you and cheering you on, and you also went home at night and you lay your head down and said, oh my God, I feel so happy. Maybe you're working in the corporate world, you're an accountant and you hate accounting. Your vision is to be a teacher. You want to get in there with youth, or maybe you just want to play the piano. I don't say quit your job, because there's a check needed. I'm sure you got people and things to take care of. But I say find a way to play the piano and gradually get to the place where you want to go. The thing is, it's not always easy because we've been living inauthentically for so long. We're confusing people when we start to live authentically. And it gets bumpy. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, you can email me or send me a message if you want to talk through it. I'll put you on my calendar. But here's the thing. The payoff you want is the one where you're at peace with yourself. Absolutely. My question, do you believe, my dear viewer and friend, that you're worth it?
Yes, yes.
See, all this go right here, I have had to go through the battle scars. We're talking about winning life like a warrior, of losing people along my journey, of letting go of relationships that just weren't going to accept the fact that I am honest and true with myself and now with you. And that's okay, because a lot of those relationships get rocky and sometimes they repair. And then you realize they didn't really do anything for you anyway, just was noisy in your head. So you start to clear that out. And then that's where you find that place of peace.
What Dr. Alisa, you said is that right in the beginning, that most important thing is that you have to first take care of your mindset. And that is why I said in the word warrior, by 7-step framework, the first letter is the winning mindset. Everything starts from there. If you can set right your mindset, then you can achieve everything. And what you said is that if you say that I can, then you can. Yeah. But if you yourself don't say I can, then nobody else on this earth can help you. So that W, or the winning mindset, is the first step toward the right direction. And I agree with you that. So viewers, you must understand, one has to work on his or her mindset if whatever you want to achieve in your life.
Exactly.
Alisa, that it brings me to another question, that you are an international best-selling author of a book called I Am. And yes. I am very intrigued by the topic name, that how to release shame of narcissistic abuse and transform poverty to the wealth beyond numbers.
Yes.
In fact, I would like that you should throw some light on this 30-second light.
30 seconds. So our best-selling book is I Am, How to. This book is such an amazing project, and it's transformational for me and my co-authors. In the book, we basically talk about some of the co-authors. We shared our stories of actual women, we're all women, who experience narcissistic abuse in some form, whether it's in their marriage or dating or sometimes with the parent, and how it affected them. The thing about it, when we talk about domestic violence, and specifically narcissism is now becoming a buzzword, and I think more and more we're unraveling what narcissism means. But in this book, we address how it pushed many of women, this whole state, and even in addition to domestic violence, into a state of poverty and living without means. And so even as we speak right now, there are people across the globe who are in a state of poverty. And so a lot of us, the authors, addressed mindset. And so we talk a lot about shame, surprisingly, more than we spoke about narcissism in our book. And if you specifically read my chapter, I share about when I stepped out of going through my separation. I lost my job and I found myself unemployed from a great corporate position that I loved. It was a sweet spot for me. And I just didn't have money, and the fear and the shame to even, you talked about the shame of what people think. So this book, if you're looking for something that helps you overcome and get a winning mindset, on getting over shame and what people think and say about you, this book will really help you with that. We really focus on shame. We even have our website that's called IamReleasingShame.org, where we're still sharing and doing and helping you more on shame. So that helps women particularly, or anyone, because I do believe men are sincerely and severely also suffering from narcissistic abuse as well. And we're not talking about that. We talk more about women suffering, but it's going both ways. And so the releasing the shame of that.
Okay.
And so if you follow that, yes, we're addressing narcissism, but if even in my chapter, you will see that I'm addressing just shame in general.
Okay.
I talk about how shame has you sitting like a frog in hot water, and you don't know that the water is hot until the frog doesn't know until he's dead and he can't leap out of the water. So shame can really take you out. So when you're thinking like you said earlier about what people say and what people think, that can really be a limiting belief that's detrimental to your soul. So you can grab a copy of this book on my website. There's an e-version for $4.99. Also, if you want a hard copy, it's already autographed and it's shipped to you directly when you order it, and it's on my website in my bookstore. So thanks for sharing that too as well.
In fact, I was very intrigued by the topic itself. So I thought, let me just discuss this with Dr. Lisa. Finally, Dr. Lisa, that you are on a mission which you say that you want to create compassionate servant leadership to help individuals live authentically in their purpose. So can you just a little idea about this compassionate servant leadership?
So, well, again, I like to say that leadership starts, we all are leaders in some form or fashion. And I know we love the topic of leadership so much, but I first like to begin with self-leadership. That is why I am a transformational master mindset coach and leadership coach, because I couldn't, initially I started off in being a leadership coach and dealing with all the corporate stuff and also developing leaders. But what I learned is that many organizations and teams struggle because those at the hem of the organization are not even aware of themselves. They're not even clear on why they're there. So we're talking compassionate servant leader is the person who understands it's not a title, it's not an ego stroke, but it's the opportunity to serve at the highest level, no matter what that is. And so a compassionate servant leader does cover all those bases, as I said earlier, which they're also looking into themselves and leading themselves first, so then they can effectively lead others. The compassionate leader communicates well. The compassionate leader sees another person as human and also sees them as equal, whether they're male or female, a different color, skin tone, or they wear their moustache different from theirs. The compassionate leader leads himself and leads with compassion. I also have a quote that said, there's never been a better time for women who are aware of themselves and serve with compassion and serves with compassion to lead in this era right now. Because I feel like we take on the role of, I'm the leader. Really, we're just telling ourselves I'm the boss because we have the title and we're like, you do this, you do that. And we don't know how to motivate and connect with people as human on the human level first. When people feel valued, they move. When people are clear on the vision, they move. So let's value people first, and then we're able to really and truly lead them. And then we can achieve the goals, whether it's the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, or it's a corporate goal, or it's a money goal, or it's a, cleaning up the city goal, whatever those goals are, we have to level the playing fields of servanthood. Greatest honor is to serve. Greatest honor is to serve.
Yes. So the very important point which you said, Alisa, is that you are a leader at a topmost position to serve. And that is where you qualify the statement, the servant leadership. Fantastic. Like our Prime Minister, he also says that I am a sevak. I am a servant of the people. He's
right.
the topmost leader, but he's a servant of the people. And that is what your philosophy is. And I also define the lead as a leader The lead is you are a learner throughout the life, then you are empathetic to the people whom you lead, and then you accept the people that they are and you make them better leader, means you
Love that.
lead them. Yeah.
That's it.
And the D is that you deliver what you are supposed to deliver. So that is the lead basically.
That's when you start hitting those goals. Exactly. Because you've
Yes.
already come from a place of serving. You value the people. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Ladies and gentlemen, with this, we come to the end of our conversation, which has been the longest conversation of my 20th episode. Okay. Out of all 20th, this is the longest conversation. And I still wanted to continue, but just to make it realistic, because Alisa and me are so gel with each other, so much is common values, so much of understanding each other, that we can indefinitely keep talking on the subject of mindset and values and other things. But on your behalf, viewers, I must thank Alisa for such a profound lessons she has shared with us. And I'm sure that you all must have gained with this. So thank you so much, Alisa, on behalf of my viewers and myself. And I am really privileged to have you today on my talk show.
Thank you so much. Listen, we can do it again. We can do this every now and then. I promise to come back and hang out with you, and we can have a little chat. Maybe we'll talk about leadership or something, winning as a leader or something. But here's the thing. I have a gift on my website that I've got up for the viewers. If they just go to alisawhyte.com, they can get a 21-day. It's a booklet that I've created. It's a booklet you will be able to download. It'll pop right up when you get on my website. It's 21 days to transform your mindset. It's a little tool that I would love for anyone who's feeling a little bit stuck to tap into. And then you can also just send me an email right off my website. Connect with me on social media. You can find me as alisawhyte.com, as Alisa Whyte on Facebook, and then Alisa Whyte Speaks on Instagram. I'm anywhere you put my name in. But if you just go to alisawhyte.com, that's ALISAWHYTE.com, you'll be able to get the tool that I have for you with the 21 days. Then also we talked about purpose in this conversation. I've got, if you go on my free gifts section of my website, you can also get a booklet on 5 transformative ways to discover and unlock your purpose. Get those tools and start to work on it. I don't feel complete without making sure someone has something to walk away after all this yumminess. We had a yummy conversation. It's almost dinner time in India. So you can go back, get those booklets and do some work. And then feel free to connect with me on social media or via email. But again, it's about serving you and giving value to people and seeing lives transform. So if you want to do some work on what we talk on, those booklets are at my website at alisawhyte.com. That's ALISAWHYTE.com. And you just have a blast and connect with me on social media.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lisa, for giving such a wonderful gift to my viewers. And certainly they will get in touch with you as well. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really.
Thank you for having me. I love your show. You've hit, I don't know, are you over 600 viewers now? This is only your 20th episode. I am saying congratulations to you. I love it. I love it. And the best part is that we get to work together at III. So yes, you and I are stuck together for life. Okay. Yes, I am learning from you.
See, the learning is always, Lisa, is a two-way process. It is always a two-way process. It can never be a one-way. So you can learn from anybody.